Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network. Sorry, I was making sure we were live in another episode of Sibling Showdown. This is, of course, our weekly Wednesday Sibling Showdown BBM5 live draft. And we are going to draft, I think, I don't know, Steve, this is probably like our fifth or sixth BBM5 live draft in just a minute. That's right. Weekly Wednesday Sibling Showdown, BBM5 live draft. If you're coming into the chat, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the Fanspeak Network if you haven't already, because we are doing 4 to 5 live drafts every single week. And we're also starting to ramp up the strategy shows too. So each week the live drafts are great. Again, we're always going to have 4 to 5 live drafts every single week, but strategy shows are fun to talk about too. Now we're talking about like strategies as training camp starts, probably talking a lot of player takes. After this, Steve and I are taping offensive coordinator changes and how that'll impact some of our decisions. So that'll be up on the channel late tonight. Be sure to look for that. So yeah, check out that stuff and check out our content on fanspeak.com. We have free articles on the website, totally free. If you don't like ads, you can subscribe to the Ultimate GM. We'll be putting some best ball features behind that soon. But we've got a bunch of articles every week. And Steve, tell me about your most recent article.
I wrote an article looking at some of my favorite players past ADP 200. So took a look at some quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, and a couple tight ends. A lot of receivers, obviously, just because I think that there's a lot of guys that, number 3 guys, even a couple guys who might be number 2s on the team that just aren't getting the credit right now. So you can maybe get some value there as you're rounding out, getting your 7th, 8th guy, and get an upside play. So these are the guys that I think are a lot of times going to be a lot better than guys sometimes taking 3-4 rounds ahead of them. So I think there's just a lot of potential upside there, and just really interesting guys who just are falling through the cracks right now, and you can take advantage of them.
Yeah, absolutely. We have Andrew in chat and said that we are the Rob family dinner time entertainment, no pressure. I'm sure your kids are going to enjoy hearing all the best ball takes. I love that. We will do our best, Andrew. So I appreciate that. That's absolutely hysterical. Yeah, I guess this is around like dinner happy hour time. I guess at least if you're on the East Coast. So we will do our best. Yeah, I just got an article up this week, kind of talking about the build that we did on our show, I think last Wednesday, where and Hayden Winks wrote an article about, he has obviously a ton of great content at Hayden Winks Twitter and on Underdog Network, where he parses through a lot of the data from past BBMs and kind of just gives some good action items. And he did an article of what has worked each of the 4 last BBMs, not 1, not 2, or 2 years ago or just last year, but all 4 years. And I think that's interesting because sometimes I think, Steve, we overreact to what worked last year, let's just run it back. Or what worked 2 years ago, maybe let's just run it back. Like these things have worked all 4 years. And it's some things that I try to do, like pacing your wide receiver. You can do any type of build, but make sure that pace those wide receivers have like 4 through 7 rounds. I like to have 5 through 9 rounds, something like that. But it was still surprised me that like, he still said to have 3 or 4 running backs through 10 rounds. And I think that's interesting too. And we talk about a lot of that because running back can be commonly hit the flex in underdog scoring. So I think these are all the good things to consider. What I wrote was, I love the elite tight ends. And yes, I think the prices are much better. Last year, I basically faded elite tight ends outside of Kittle. And I basically, a couple Mark Andrews shares, and I basically did all late round tight end builds and it worked great. This year, I see the case for elite tight ends, and I am going to mix that portfolio. And I think no matter what you're doing, if you have a big portfolio, you should be mixing your styles of draft. You should be mixing your players and obviously looking at your exposures for diversifying your portfolio, but you should also diversify your strategy portfolio. So I will have a little more elite tight ends than I did last year for sure, but I do still like the late round tight end because building a 1-4-5 to start, meaning 1 quarterback, 4 running backs, 5 receivers, boy, do you feel like really comfortable with those rooms. And yeah, then your tight end room is weaker. But if you can cobble together 3 guys, I'm sure we're not going to get a Sam Laporta-esque tight end. But if you could get anything remotely like that, that just a big outperformer of ADP. What did you think of that? And I absolutely loved our draft that we did last week. It was an Anthony Richardson start with the stack, but I think it started 0 RB, but we did 1, 4, 5 through the first 10. What were your thoughts on that article?
Yeah, no, I thought that was a good article and good draft. I do like that strategy. I'm definitely still more mid to late tight end. Sure, if I can stack my elite tight end, McBride with Murray, Andrews, Jackson, etc., Kelsey, Mahomes, down the line, sure, then I like it a little bit more. But taking those guys by themselves, I don't feel as as strong. So I do like more the middle to late tier. So maybe starting around 8 through 12, getting my first tight end. And sometimes even later and just really hammering it, kind of like 13, 14, 15, just 3 straight tight ends. I don't think we're having a Sam Laporta, a guy taken that late who ends up as tight end 1, of course.
Justin says we're hoping for Jatavion Sanders. He's been our call ever since the draft, and we'd like that.
And what I will say is, I don't think we necessarily had that, and especially from the rookie. But I think there's some of these later tight ends who are being undervalued. I mean, you look at a Hunter Henry who's getting valued based on the anemic offense that was last year in New England with just horrendous quarterback play. Whether it's Brissett or May, it's going to be better. And Alex Van Pelt, new offensive coordinator, look at what they've done with David Njoku. You look at Noah Fant, he's last couple of years, they've had Will Dissly and Colby Parkinson isn't in a 3-man tight end room. Now it's just him. They drafted a rookie late, but it's just him. So it's situations like that. Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill is no longer really necessarily the tight end in there. So,
I think there's options with upside, like you said. Yeah. So go ahead.
So and just we could see it. We've talked highly about the Titans offense. Like they went from not being a team that doesn't throw to every camp report we hear is they're going to throw the ball a lot.
Right.
So Chigakonkwo could be the guy who is getting 8 to 10 touchdowns this year.
And I'm taking him a lot in my my Will Levis stacks, which I have a Will Levis stack addiction. Justin says Ingram and Njoku feel like they could be a key tight end checkpoint. I know Tyler mentioned Pat Freiermuth from his Steelers. To sum up what you're saying, and then we are going to jump into a BBM5 draft, is like I am taking, again, mixing elite tight ends more this year. And when I am doing it, to your point, I'm doing a lot when I stack with their quarterback, like Mark Andrews, Lamar, Trey McBride, Kyler, Ferguson, Dak, Kittle, Purdy, right? But I am mixing in more this year, but I do still like it. So be sure to check out that article. And again, check out all the articles on fanspeak.com. We'll have 2 to 4 new ones every week, all free, and more features coming. Again, more strategy shows here on the Fanspeak Network. Again, I'm excited to talk to Steve about offensive coordinators. Again, that'll be up later tonight. It'll help explain probably my Will Levis and Titans addiction, because I just think that Brian Callahan offense is going to be, really fun to watch and different than what we've seen. So any other thoughts, Steve, before we jump in and do a draft together?
No, and I think the thing to keep in mind, it's still very early in this best ball process, and take some shots on different strategies, different builds, and some upside plays. But also right now, a lot of guys are I feel mispriced based on roles that are undefined and things of that nature. Good examples, and sure, maybe you get paid off, but a good example are some of these rookies, like rookie receivers, like a Ricky Parasol or an Xavier Legette, a Donnie Mitchell. I mean, these are very 3 uncertain roles. I mean, Ricky Parasol, he might be, barring injury, lucky to get 30 targets this year. And this is what I mean.
Unless he gets traded, what do you think about all that? That's the only thing about it. He's the one that I think the other stuff with like the raw move, because you've identified Legette as kind of like your raw, like gadgety player.
But the issue is, if he doesn't, you're you're taking a guy where he's getting 30 targets, a guy like Jalen Tolbert, a third receiver on the Cowboys, is going to get 2.5 times. Like he's going to get 75 targets easy with no injuries.
Right.
And one, because the Cowboys pass just way more.
Right.
And yeah, so it's just stuff like that, like to keep in mind. And you're getting Tolbert in the 19th or 17th round, and you're taking Parasol in the 14th
Yeah,
round.
I think everybody, in the best ball space talks about betting on rookies. We want to bet on rookies, but we want to bet on the right rookies. And again, I've talked about on other pods and this pod last year, in the past couple of years, you've kept me off some of the let's stay away from that rookie. And last year it was Quentin Johnson. This year you've kind of said that a little bit about Leggett, and I get the case. Who was the other one you said outside? Not Parasol, Leggett, and who else?
Adonai Mitchell.
Mitchell. Yeah, that scares me too. Again, rushing quarterback, already two very established receivers. You even have Pearson, you have Johnny Woods coming back. So, yes, Andrew, we are jumping in a draft. Justin's calling you Andy. Things are getting crazy. So go ahead. What were you going to say, Steve?
Well, as you start getting in a draft, speaking of guys I got you off on, I don't know if you saw the latest from the new Titans offense coordinator talked about that Treylon Burks needs to be on
play special teams.
Yeah, on the punt, the punt protector if he wants to.
He wants to be they're using him as like gunner, right?
Yeah.
2 years ago, Steve was like, I wouldn't draft Treylon Burks, and last year I was like, I wouldn't draft Quentin Johnson. So this year, let me tell you, I'm not drafting Xavier Leggett. Right now, he's going. I think he has like some pulled muscle or something like that. But let me bring over Underdog. So Andy, if you want to jump in with us, we are no Andrew and anybody that wants to jump in with us. Do I have it pulled over? I am clicking enter in 3, 2, 1. And we are in, and we're waiting for 10. So we've got a full room to fill up here. So, let's see. Tyler said I draft myself before I draft Quentin Johnson. That's funny.
Yeah, can't argue that.
AR is heavier now. It's funny, the reports on some quarterbacks are putting on weight, some quarterbacks are losing weight. This is just the time of the year where we get all these wild reports and stuff like that. It's funny. We are drafting together. Someone asked me, Steve, they were like, well, Sibling Showdown, that means you're drafting against each other. I was like, yeah, based on the name, we probably should, but we have fun doing like a team draft. So yeah. I asked you before, I was like, are we like one of the only siblings in the best ball space that stream? I don't know. Are we like the Ross and Monica of the, I'm such a Friends nerd. Are we like the Ross and Monica of the best ball space? You're like a football nerd, not a dinosaur nerd. And I'm totally controlling like Monica.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we're the Ross and Monica, the Sibling Showdown, except in this case, we're not fighting. We're trying to work together here. So I guess based on the name, we probably should draft against each other, but I don't know. I have fun drafting together and trying to talk through our picks. We still are waiting for 5. If anybody wants to join us, Andrew is in. Anybody else wants to join us, 4 more to go. But speaking of friends, exciting friend of Best Ball this Friday. Well, of course, watch the DraftKings show from yesterday. Watch with Tyler and Spread. Watch tomorrow night. We have Andrew and Justin at 9:30. And then friends, my friend of Best Ball this week is Tom Strachan from across the pond. So it'll be 9 a.m. on Friday morning. Tom and I will be in the Friends of Best Ball Street. So I'm very, very excited about that. Love drafting with Tom. Actually, you were on the stream last year with Tom, Steve, and that was one of our Friends of Best Ball drafts that made the playoffs. It actually almost made semis too. So it was a fun one. It was a good team. I liked it a lot. Okay, it looks like we're loading here. And let's see what pick we get. Oh, 2. All right. I'm getting a lot of the 2. I take some more ones. Okay, let's see who we got in here. We have Justin in the 9 and TD. Andrew, every single time I see you on a show draft, it's the 12th spot. I mean, it has literally not been a time I've seen Andrew on his show or he's been in a show draft with me that he's not in the 12th spot. Have you been emailing Underdog? What's going on? Are you trying to get the Garrett Wilson and Drake London combo?
Well, I mean, the 12th worked last year for the Lamb
I know.
Amon-Ra.
That's why I'm
So
kind of jealous of it. I mean, though the times I've gotten it's kind of like been Snipe City for me. So,
eh,
um, I mean, I'm just going to queue up Lamb. I've been trying to, I mean, I've gotten the two a lot more than I've gotten like 1, 3, 4. So I'm trying to like mix up my combos with Lamb, which speaking of mixing up combos, I don't think Pat would mind me saying this. Pat from the Fantasy Dog Pound. I was on his stream last night. Go check that out. It was a weekly winners stream. Well, let me make the pick. I assume it's going to be CeeDee Lamb if McCaffrey goes here, and then we can talk to our strategy. Yes, it is. But excuse me. Let me pull up the board then too. Okay, you can see that. Okay, right? Yeah. So I was on Pat the Fantasy Dog Pound last night talking weekly winners. He was friends of best ball last Friday. Check both of them out. It was great. But love doing shows with Pat, and that was a lot of fun. Pat's got a new tool coming out in a few weeks, and we will definitely be promoting here on FanSpeak because it's got just a lot of great features that you can see your exposures in a live draft. You can see correlations. You can see, playoff matchups, that kind of stuff. But then you can also do searches to see your combination ownership. And that is big for me because I don't want to have like all my McCaffrey teams have like the same couple people or all my Lamb teams have the same couple people. Because, especially at that high capital, if someone goes down, I don't want it to kill all my Lamb teams. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's a big one. Let's see. Justin's taunting him, taking Marvin Harrison and Gibbs again. We got no fan in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Would love to draft with you all, but starting second job shortly. Hope the draft goes well. Thank you. Really enjoy you guys. We usually will do it earlier on Wednesdays. It did a little later tonight. And as Justin said, if you're around tomorrow night, 9:30 Eastern, Justin and Andrew will be doing a draft tomorrow night. And if you're around in the morning, 9 a.m., I will be doing Friends of Best Ball 9 a.m. Friday with Tom Strachan. So thank you for joining us, and definitely jump in one of our other drafts this week. Because again, we got one pretty much every day. So I'm trying to think of, I manually looked up, and that's why this tool will be so cool. When Pat's tool and the Fantasy Dog Pound, when they launched that. And I can't wait to tell you guys more about it when it's ready. But I really want to be cognizant of that combination ownership. And I was trying to watch, I manually looked it up, and, I've seen different combinations. I know I have some, I don't think I did any double running back with them, but maybe I did do one Kyron and A-Chain. I know I have some A-Chain with like a receiver, Kyron and receiver. I definitely have Mike Evans. I definitely have Waddle with him a couple times. So yeah, I'm trying to watch the combos. I think last time I reached down a little bit, and I like this, and I got, I want to say Nico fell somehow, and then I reached down and got Devonta Smith, and then that had like the week 17 correlation too, just to do something different too. So
yeah.
Let's take a quick look at the board. Pretty much nothing too crazy. After us went Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson, which I love the reports. They may use them more like Christian McCaffrey. That's always sounds good. Justin Jefferson, Breece Hall, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Puka, AJ Brown. Oh, so Justin goes Garrett Wilson. That's like one of my favorite picks in the back half of the draft. And then TD King, Andrew, Jahmyr Gibbs, Drake London. So he's there. He mixed it up. He did not take Marvin Harrison, but no, I like the Gibbs, Drake London a lot. And then it went Ayuk, Marvin Harrison, Devontae Adams, back to Justin. That's a great receiver start. Barkley, Taylor, Olave. So with that all said, we've got Debo, Nico Collins is kind of falling again. I mean, that share I took where he fell to me was the first time I took him. So I would definitely do that again. And I definitely don't have a Nico Mike Evans with CeeDee Lamb, because again, I just manually looked this up. I don't think both of these guys are going to fall, but or if there's any scroll down options, what do you think here, Steve, since Debo just went off the board?
Yeah, I mean, those would be the top two guys.
Just went. Okay, so just name your favorites, because we'll be up in one.
I mean, I like Waddle.
Yeah, I do have a lot of Waddle with him.
Go down then.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, I could do another like running back share and then a receiver at the next pick.
Yeah, do one of
Kyron's
the
been
running
falling.
backs.
I'm not going to take
Yeah,
Kyron.
do a
You
chain.
like? Do you
I
like a
don't.
chain?
I honestly don't love a chain as much, just because I think it's just. I think it's. I think honestly, like I know they. Um,
Well, we took him because I
no,
couldn't
no.
tell
I
you.
mean, it's fine. It's just. I feel like
Well,
he's a great player.
we'll
He's a
talk about
special
it
guy.
after this. Let's talk about it
Yeah,
after this pick. So, what do we do here? We've got Diggs, DJ Moore, Neighbors.
I would
We
take
could.
Devonta Smith.
Yes, that's exactly what I
Yeah,
was hoping you'd say, because it did go Waddle and
yeah,
Moore in between, and I don't believe I've gotten the Lamb a chain Devonta Smith combo. Again, just trying to watch the different combos. So, and again, you've got that week 17 correlation built right in. I mean, I highly doubt Hertz falls back to you, but if you get a DAC stack, you have that week 17 correlation built right in. So I like that. So
yeah.
go ahead, finish your thoughts on a chain. I had
So
to cut
yeah,
you
I
off
mean,
there.
just the thing with the chain is, unlike any other running back taken in these top 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, even, um, a chain might not be the top running back on his team. I mean, what if Mostert does what he did last year and just has 18 touchdowns?
I
1,000
just
plus
think it's the
yards.
explosiveness. I mean, that's why. I mean, I definitely think for
Oh,
like
I mean, he is a
weekly,
fantastic weekly winners guy.
he's a weekly winners, and I
Um,
mean, but yeah, but then if he explodes in the right weeks, and then of course, I definitely think it does feel high. I get what you're saying for like a season long thing, but if he
yeah,
explodes in the right weeks, it could be just monster. I want my exposure, but I also want to be careful with the total exposure on him.
yeah. It
I
just
think that's
feels like you're paying
some
a high toll for a guy who
right.
might
Yeah,
not be. It's kind of like you're paying for Jameer Gibbs last year, and it's like Gibbs and Monty were essentially the same guy, but because they because they both shared time, and granted, they both missed a couple games. Gibbs 2, I think Monty 3. Um, like neither finishes a top 5 running back. Like neither finishes I think they finished as like 9th and 11th as
yeah,
running back. So, and
yeah.
actually, I think Monty was better points per game. Um,
Yeah, and we just gotta hope that explosiveness pays off enough at that price.
and
And yeah,
Tyler has
that's
to
what's
win.
that's what's tough. That and Tyler makes a point. They drafted right then too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to be cognizant of my total a chain ownership. Here we were just trying to mix up
Yeah.
my combo with Lamb because I had already had I believe Waddle and somebody else. So yeah, just was trying to mix that up. But I get those situations do make me a little nervous, even though I like a chain. And my God, weekly winners is definitely
Yeah. That's his
hammer.
format.
Yeah, that's the best format. Tyler asked not high DJ Moore. Definitely am. Wanted to. I don't actually. That's a good question. If I've gotten DJ Moore with Lamb, but I do like DJ Moore. I probably like Devonta Smith slightly higher though. And you've got the week 17 correlation. Thoughts, Steve?
Well, Moore was off the board when I think you meant over a chain.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're right. Okay, that's right. Okay, yeah. DJ Moore went in between. It went.
Yeah.
That's right. We took a chain and it went Waddle Moore, and then we took Devonta Smith. So yeah, let's look at the board. Then it went Pittman, Kyron Williams. Some drafts he falls more than others. Stephon Diggs, Malik Neighbors, Travis Kelce, DK Metcalf, Cooper Kupp. Oh man, Justin, love that start. Wilson, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp. That's like one of them. Actually, this spot is like one of my favorites. If you can get like that combination of 3 receivers, I do love that. Tank Dell, Sam Laporte, T. Higgins. So I start for Andrew as well, and he's coming around the 3-4 turn and took Zay Flowers. And so yeah, then what do you typically like to do when you have that start of the draft at like the 4-5 turn, Steve? There's a couple. I guess it depends what quarterbacks fall and that kind of stuff.
You mean where we're at?
Yeah, where we're at. Yes.
Yeah, I
Because of
would.
course Hertz did not fall back to us.
Yeah,
That's not surprising.
yeah. So I would probably take another receiver and running back here. I'm fine if Dak ends up as our QB1.
I have no problem with that. Some of my favorite builds last year were Dak as my QB1. Or some of my most successful and favorite, both were Dak as my QB1. So I have no problem with that. So yeah, it looks like Allen and Hertz are the 2 quarterbacks off the board. I will say something I haven't done much here. I think I did it once with a McCaffrey pick. Is I also wouldn't mind doing doing something if Lamar falls to do like a Lamar Andrews share, because this is the area where you can get them both. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I'm just less high on Andrews. Just
Yeah, I just want to mix up our builds because
yeah,
we've been doing where we kind of do wait on quarterback more in that wait till the DAC range, and I do want to have in some of these BBM builds some elites,
sure.
at the top, and I just want to mix up my combination ownership with Lamb. Like I don't think I have any Lamb Lamar. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? And
Yeah.
then that way, if we get DAC, great. If we don't, then we have options. So let's get Lamar first, and then we'll queue up Andrews. And then we can talk it through. And I see we got Neil Orfield in the chat. I share the same a chain concerns. Tough click in the mid until the mid third round. Yeah. We're back on the clock. Let me. Is Andrews there? Yes, it went Pacheco Mahomes in between. That's a good team correlation there. And so I do like this start just to change it up for me. Again, we have CD. Devonta Smith, week 17 correlation. We got the Dolphins speed running back in between, and then a Lamar Andrews stack. And then we have some optionality throughout. So to Neil's point, yeah, that's what we were kind of talking through is I want to watch my total ownership there. And I don't know, in hindsight, maybe should have taken DJ more, to mix it up because I don't think I have more there because I already am worrying about my combination ownership and it's only June. So yeah, he likes to wait to early to mid third, and I get that. Wouldn't be surprised if a chain falls more, especially, yeah. So I think that makes a lot of sense. So good to see you here, Neil. Good to see Spread in here. And Neil said he's a big fan of the 4 or 5 Lamar Andrews turn, which that's where you can get it. Cause there's been some other spots where I've wanted it. And it is like, and I know I have one share of McCaffrey, Lamar Andrews. So, I kind of want to mix it up with the other early elites. Like, okay, I have Lamar Andrews with them too. So let's see. He said, I know Kareem is very high on a chain. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not going to be a fade for me. I already have probably a little too much. I probably need to pump the brakes on
I mean, you look at like stats like his points per touch, his points per route run, like all those types of things are off the charts. I mean, he's so incredible.
Yeah.
But just,
I'm sorry. Finish your thought. And then,
it's just they do have other guys there, and it's not like most are slowed down.
Yeah.
Even late in the year, he was still the hammer.
Yeah, he still looked great late in the year. Absolutely. So yeah, I do like that we got kind of a different type of build. I like to do like different builds in these Wednesday weekly Sibling Showdown drafts, and I think more of our builds lately. Well, last week we did do AR. We did Richardson the 5th, but I do want to mix in, just like I talked about, mixing our portfolio, mixing our strategy builds and such. I do want to mix different builds in where sometimes we are getting that elite quarterback or this kind of quarterback tight end stack, which is different for me. I'm not going to do that as much as probably more waiting till, like you said, that like DAC range and hitting like maybe 2 in that range. And of course, possibly waiting on tight end more often than I go elite tight end. So yeah, it's good to mix it up though. Okay. So Anthony Richardson did go right after us to the team that took Michael Pittman, which makes a ton of sense. Christian Kirk, Kyle Pitts, Terry McLaurin, Hollywood Brown, Jaden Reed, Dalton Kincaid to Justin, Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley, Joe Mixon to Andrew. He's been falling lately. Have you noticed that, Steve?
Yeah. And, I think that's just seems like such a mistake. And I know you look at, Devin Singletary was just kind of above average running back, but still splitting work with Dameon Pierce last year, and still likely will, Mixon will share some with Pierce this year, but Mixon has obviously been a much better running back. And, we're talking about this 49ers style offense, the Shanahan tree with Bobby Slow Jr. And the other thing is, Stroud, just another year being better, more efficient. Early in the season, it took a couple games for them to really take off, especially consistently. And they had a lot of offensive line issues very early, especially early in the year, which was another factor of Stroud taking a few weeks to really get that ship going. If their O-line is healthy this year, Mixon could really just be in a much better situation where they're just always in the red zone and
Yeah.
he's just a touchdown hammer. So
Right. Right. And especially an underdog. Yeah. No, I like that. And
yeah,
then Andrew went Chris Godwin after that. And then James Cook, Dunze, and Justin got Rashad White. So we'll be coming up in the 6th and 7th. And because we took the elite tight end and quarterback, we do fall kind of behind a little bit. So I feel like I do want to queue up some receivers. I know you like Brian Thomas a lot. I'm obsessed with the Tennessee offense. I know you like Keon Coleman as well. I know you like Shakir probably for the value a little bit more. But any others? I know Justin did a nice short on Deontay Johnson. That's somewhat in that range, a little further back. But who would you say, just out of curiosity, is your favorite receiver if everybody was here, which they probably won't be, in this area?
I mean, from that group, I would probably target probably
Brian Thomas just went.
Yeah, probably Coleman.
Really? Coleman over just for the youth and the offense he's on?
Yeah, and the thing with Hopkins is he does have the same bias Devonta.
Yeah,
And
7-5.
I just
Okay, so you want to go Coleman here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I know you like Shakir a lot, but you still think Coleman's going to make an impact early, or at least this year, and be a red zone target for Josh Allen.
Yeah, and I think it. I mean, I love DeAndre Hopkins too, but I think Coleman.
We're on the clock, so hold on. What's your thoughts on? I don't have many Deontay Johnson shares.
I like Deontay
because
Johnson.
That way we don't fall too far behind on receiver.
And this is the other reason why I'm down on Xavier Legette, not just because he's a raw prospect, but the word came out. Deontay Johnson is their ex receiver.
Yeah, did you see it? Was that on that Coach Speak? I'm obsessed with that Coach Speak index.
Yeah,
I watch all the videos. And was that on that where they were talking to him? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that they have Adam Thielen, who, who's going to be operating in the slot. And it's like those two guys are probably going to eat up a ton of their receiver targets, and add in Sanders at tight end, Jonathan Brooks and Hubbard at running back.
That was another Coach Speak index where it was Canales talking about how it's a tight end friendly offense. And I was like, oh, JT Sanders shares like that. Okay, well, I like to start because, didn't want to fall too far behind at receiver. So we kind of kept pace there. And then we'll, can queue up both running back receivers.
And here's obviously we're taking it a little higher than you were getting it last year, but keep in mind, as much as people are obviously worried about the Carolina offense, Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen was I think he ended maybe wide receiver 17, wide receiver 15, something like that, in half point PPR fantasy last year for the season. And
he kind of fizzled at the end, but
sure. I mean, that's because the offense was just god awful. But and they started trying the rookies more and guys like that. But the point being is, he still got you there. He got you to the playoffs. He was one of the most tremendous values outside of like Nico Collins and Puka Nacua and Tank Dell. After the 10th round, last year. So among wide receivers, so. Deontay Johnson can absolutely exceed his ranking here, and adding Dave Canales, adding a much better offensive system.
That's another coordinator combination we'll be able to talk about is Dave Canales to that.
Building their O-line better, things like that, like just a lot of reasons. And Deontay Johnson's a younger, more athletically gifted receiver than Thielen. So, every reason to think that he can absolutely exceed this kind of wide receiver ranking.
Yeah, and that's what Tyler says. Bryce is going to pepper DJ on all those slants. So, just like the Deontay Johnson short that Justin did this week, talking about just his value. And I just the way my drafts have fallen, it's not like I've intentionally ignored them. I have just a couple shares. So I was glad to grab another share there. Let's check on the board, see what folks are doing after our DJ pick. It went Watson, Montgomery, Kamara, Kittle, Rasheed Rice, Jake Ferguson, and then Justin took Aaron Jones. Then Jonathan Brooks, JSN, and Andrew got Jameson Williams. I like the JMO pick a lot because he has Gibbs, so he's got some nice team correlation built in there. And then Najee, love that pick. I know at some point Felix will probably watch this show. If he's not in here now, I'm sure he'll watch it. So Andrew, Felix is giving you a big air high five on that one. So good pick. I've been taking a good bit of Najee when I can.
Yeah.
So
it's hard not to in an Arthur Smith offense to target the running back.
Yeah, exactly. So Dak, we were not going to be able to get the Dak stack. And that's why I didn't, hate it. Because in this situation, the tough thing about the Lamb Dak thing is you either have to reach or hope he falls like, what I think that is his ADP right around 90, right, Steve?
Yeah, it's slid a little bit.
It slid a little bit recently too, which has surprised me as well. So, you either have to reach or hope he falls back to you. And I have plenty of Lamb and Dak shares, and that's why I kind of wanted to mix it up too. But he did not fall back into us, and he went to the guy who took Ferguson, which, obviously makes sense for this particular person, got Ferguson Dak in the 7th, 8th. I mean, I love that combination. So in the 8th, 9th, we're at 95 and 98. So we're up in one, Steve. So kind of some guys that tried true that I know we both like.
But not Mostert.
Oh, yep. Thank you. Sorry. That's right. We took.
I'll do Tony Pollard.
I don't like the running backs right under him.
So
do you want to take Tony? We've got a break, and then we can.
And then after I have another receiver or a tight end here. Or I guess a receiver, we already have Andrews.
I was going to say, because scrolling down, that's too much of a reach for those guys. And then we get
Lockett.
Yeah. I've been taking a good bit of Lockett. Did you want to? Oh, we took Keon Coleman. I was going to say, do you like Mike Williams any more than Lockett? Or do you have Lockett?
I like Lockett.
You have Lockett.
I like Lockett better. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got 5 receivers still by the 9th round, which even going elite quarterback and tight end, we still were able to get the 5 receivers by the 9th round. So that's good. So our start right now is 1, 2, 5, 1, Lamar Jackson, Devon DeChain, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Devonta Smith, Keon Coleman, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett, and Mark Andrews. So let's take a look back at the board. And then, hopefully I still think this is a range where we can target some running backs to kind of get some more confidence there with our kind of 3rd and or 4th. So taking a look at the board, we took Tyler Lockett, then it went Devin Singletary, Trey Benson, Jordan Love. Has he been falling, or is that around where Love's been going too? I'm definitely high on Love.
I think that's around where he's going. Yeah.
Dak Ferguson got shot to be the most common combo in the finals. Any other candidate? I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of common combos. I mean, within team stacks, obviously, you're going to have, the teams that do well in the playoffs are just going to have that team combo. Last year, like as far as like the correlated stack was, Amon-Ra CD. But actually, I was watching Neil's show earlier, and someone mentioned it's not wrong. I know Neil mentioned Devonta Adams outscored one of them. I believe he outscored Amon-Ra St. Brown. But it's not like you have to dodge the common combinations. Yeah. But it's also then good to, I think, mix in other combinations with it. Scrolling down in other areas. Like for instance, last year, the guy who won, he took CD and Amon-Ra, but then, maybe he got different down the board a little bit. So yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with worrying about that necessarily. And as far as the team stacks that are going to be common in the, I guess, playoffs are going to be the, successful teams. And then that's why I like, honestly, stacking up teams, Steve, like team correlated different positions, because you may be able to pull in a teammate that if let's say they don't have a good quarterfinals and semifinals, their particular ownership may go down. I'm just using the Detroit Lions again as an example. Say that, I don't know. You could even say it's all the running game in Amon-Ra, but Goff's been terrible. You might be able to pull a Goff into the finals, and then he's super low owned, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Where say Goff and the receivers are big, but the running backs aren't. Maybe you pull a lower owned Gibbs or David Montgomery into the finals. That kind of stuff is what I like, because the guy, whoever's good, we don't know. There's no way we could possibly predict that. In the quarterfinals and semifinals is going to be high owned in the finals, just like, CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra were last year. But you can pull some teammates with them potentially. And that's why I like stacking at multiple positions and that team level correlation. So, and when I get to do more of the sprint drafts, I want to do that as well too. And that's just not pulling it to the finals, but just that whole playoff picture of like, hopefully this team just has a lot of offensive success in the playoffs, and they might bounce off each other. Have you done any sprint drafts yet, Steve?
No, I haven't done any of the sprint drafts yet.
But I know you like that format. That's something I assume you're
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. So we have Seats 501 in chat. Are you targeting Packers wide receivers and more flyer? Yeah, I like it. I like the Packers offense a lot. I'm just having a hard time deciding. And I know, again, I watched Neil's first show today, and he was talking about making a bet on which ones. And I believe, Neil, if you're still in chat, I believe you're high on Wicks, and we're fading Dubs, if I have it correct. I know you like Reed a lot too, Steve. Justin said Reed and Wicks. Would you agree with that?
That's me. Reed and Wicks is where I'm at.
Yeah. That's what
I'll do a little Dubs just because it's not as cost prohibitive as Watson, but
right.
And injury prohibitive.
Right.
But yeah, Reed and Wicks are, I think, where the upside is.
Yeah, that's I believe it was actually Pat from Fantasy Dog Pound was on Neil's show today. Go check that out on Neil Warfield's channel. It was a good draft that I was watching before I was getting ready for this, but I believe they took Reed and Love. So I like that especially when you get one of the higher Green Bay quarter to get Love. So we are coming up again at, let's see, 119, 122, and we are on the clock. Well, Mike Williams fell all the way back to us. I think that's just good falling value, and then we can just hammer running backs.
I think we need Gus Edwards, because if Gus Edwards goes, running back is totally dead.
Well, it's not totally dead. We have Austin Eckler and Ezekiel Elliott.
Okay. I mean, I think we're really hurting it.
They have 3 running backs at.
I mean, take Mike Williams if you want him.
I'm going to take the falling value on Mike Williams.
Okay.
So. And if he takes Gus Edwards, then I don't think he's going to take Gus Edwards and Austin Eckler. If he takes them both, then I'll say sorry.
Well, I meant we really needed 2 guys, because we're very
okay. Well, I'm going to take Gus Edwards. I'm going to take one of them, because you're seeing a sibling fight. No, we are on. Hey, look what happened. We got one of them. Do you want Gus Edwards or Austin Eckler? I'll let you choose, since I got my
I would do.
Wait, let's do we got 6 bye week 6 and 5.
I would still do Edwards.
You still do Edwards with the bye week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know, and that again, because we didn't kind of, as Hayden Wings talked about, having at least 3 running backs by round 10. That's why Steve was saying what he was saying, is because that was round. What turn was that we just drafted at? That was the 10-11 turn. Yeah. So that would have been, you were trying to get the 3-4 running backs by round 10. Hey, we still got, I mean, let's be honest, this is technically close to round 10. We still got 3 round 10-ish. It was round 11A. So, I feel okay with that. I was just really interested in taking a falling value.
Yeah. My also concern is the 2 running backs that we have, Chain and Pollard, are pretty much just spike week guys. Neither one are guaranteed as gals. So I worry that, you might not have them consistently both putting up big scores in the same week.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of concern also.
Real quick, for someone interested, that's the sibling showdown we're looking for. Little fight, little battle on the picks. Yeah, and it showed the Monica Geller in me, that I just wanted to be bossy, right?
Because and this is to the point, is I also, well, it's general rule of those types of things, but it's also the types of guys you're talking about. Because when it's
That's
receivers.
why you wanted to get a more solid running back, because I had 2 spike week running backs to start.
Yeah,
Not to start, but a Chain and Pollard. I said, no,
yeah,
I get what you're saying. But yeah, I went Monica Geller on you. So happy that we didn't disappoint Andrew. I like that Spread likes the Gust Bus. Tyler, good to see you in chat. He talks about not in on JSN and just is the most expensive wide receiver on a wide receiver 3 on any team that isn't projecting top 12. Any thoughts on that, Steve? I know you're a little higher on the Seattle offense than me, but thoughts on JSN? Because I wasn't in on JSN last year, and I'm not yet this year either. Real before you answer, JSN said could be the number 2. Hope not, because we just drafted did Lockett. So, but go ahead, give your thoughts to Tyler's comment.
Well, the interesting thing is, right now JSN is going higher, I believe, in drafts. I'm not sure what it went in our draft, but I do think, yes, there's an outcome where JSN surpasses Lockett this year. What I do,
he went 83, just to let you know.
Yeah, and we got Lockett
98.
Yeah, so I mean they go relatively close. So the thing is, unlike last year when you had Metcalf going like 30 something, and then JSN going like 50, and then Lockett not far behind. There's no way all 3 of those guys could pay off their ADPs. This year they can, because they're spread out to the point where they actually can. Not to mention the fact, Seattle changed with the new coaching staff. They changed their offensive coordinator. Ryan Grubb came in from the University of Washington. It likely is going to be a much more down the field passing attack.
So who does that make you like more if it's more down?
I mean,
Lockett,
Metcalf and Lockett for Metcalf, sure. That seems to be their game. I haven't
taken Metcalf much at all.
And just in general, I think they're going to be a more explosive passing team. And as we saw at Washington, Michael Penix had 3 really good receivers. Guess what? Seattle has 3 really good receivers. So could pay off big time.
Spread, check out our offensive coordinator show, which will be up tonight. Tomorrow morning at the latest, but hopefully up tonight. We're taping it right after this. We're talking about new offensive coordinators. Steve's talking about Grubb. He's high on Grubb too. I know you really like the Washington offense. Steve and Spread. So we will talk about that, because that's something I do want to pay really, really close attention to. Okay, we're up in 2, Steve. Then we'll take a look at the board and what things have been doing, what the other guys have been doing. We are up at 143 and 146. Excuse me. So on the top of the board, I'm just going to read it all positions, because I think with having Andrews, we can wait on tight end. But Downs just went. We have Freiermuth, Dow, Komet. Marshawn Lloyd is one I like, that I've been getting higher on. And then you've got that range that I know you don't love outside of Mooney. So
I'd do Rico. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about Dow at all? Actually, let's do up our second pick, because
honestly, I kind of like the idea of just taking the second tight end here and being done.
Oh, okay. Let me see. So we got Freiermuth, Komet, Musgrave. Who do you like?
I like Freiermuth.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. I have not taken much Freiermuth yet. Why have you been higher on Freiermuth this year with the Arthur Smith offense?
Arthur Smith uses a lot of 2 tight end sets. Pat Freiermuth is never going to leave the field, and he's going to be the one going down routes. It's not going to be Darnell Washington Jr. It's also, he's going to go on the more intermediate and deeper routes. And, I think, obviously he's not Kyle Pitts, but he also offers obviously the size in the red zone. Last year the Steelers were just a very inefficient offense. That's never been Arthur Smith in the past.
What's their bye week?
9.
Okay, we're good. I was just checking, because we're only going to take 2 tight ends. So
yeah.
Okay, let me pull the board back up. So okay. I need to be more open to taking.
And because Deontay Johnson left, and I like Roman Wilson to kind of slide into that role. They also lost Allen Robinson. They don't have a clear number 3 receiver. Pat Freiermuth could be honestly number 2 in targets on the team behind George Pickens. So I just could see, he's just dealt with a really bad luck. As a rookie, he had an aging Ben Roethlisberger, but since then he's had the Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky show.
Yeah.
He's getting
no, and I like him as he's our tight end too, kind of just filling in there. So I like that. Okay, so checking in on the chat, we have Felix is here. We tried to get Najee Felix. He did not fall back to us. So we probably didn't take him in the area where he was going, or didn't hit that sweet spot to get Najee. So he did go. Actually, Andrew took him. So Andrew took him. So good pick by Andrew. We said you would be proud, Felix. So good to see you. And yeah, so Spread saying hi to Felix. And Spread said he's in a weekly winners draft right now, and Quorum went higher than Najee, and that is just unacceptable for our friend Felix. And I would agree with you, and happy that worked out for you, Spread. So like it. So let's check in with what the other guys are doing, because I saw Justin. We grabbed Gus Edwards. He did grab with the last couple picks he's made. He had gotten, let's see, Palmer earlier, Khalil Shakir, Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert. So I thought he was, I thought he had another Chargers piece too. I could be making that up. But anyways, he got, Palmer, Shakir, Eckler, Justin Herbert, and Cole Kmet. So he got his Chargers stack. And then last couple picks, I thought Andrew would go Jared Goff, because he was building out some nice Detroit correlation with and we were just talking about how just building team correlation can help in the playoffs. Gibbs and JMO, and again he got Najee, he got Brock Bowers, who's Spreads guy, and then he got Jared Goff for his Detroit stack, Jerome Ford, Donnie Mitchell, and then he's got his second quarterback Aaron Rodgers and Corley. So just a stack right off there, which is nice. I can't believe how late Rodgers is going, quite honestly. I can't believe. Let me say it this way. I can't believe more Garrett Wilson shares aren't taking him. Which actually Aaron had, or no, Aaron. Andrew, I thought Andrew had him. Andrew did not. Justin has him, actually. But that, I'm just surprised in general he's not going often with Garrett Wilson, or just period, because he's so easy to backstack. Or with Breece Hall shares and backstack, quite honestly. I'm surprised he's not going. He's literally constantly now falling to, where'd he go? 156 in the 150s. And he's so easy to backstack with Corley. You could either get, or if you get like a Mike Williams, like we did, like you could get him, or you could just simply backstack him with like a Corley and Conklin. So yeah, I like that you were at the turn able to get a second nice stack there, Andrew, with Rodgers and Corley, and then it went Jermaine Burton, Geno Smith, and Justin got our guy, Roman Wilson. That's a guy I've been taking a ton of. I know you mentioned Freiermuth could be second in targets, but we also do like Roman Wilson in this offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And the interesting thing with Aaron Rodgers, obviously some of the camp videos are already coming out, and he's just making ridiculous throws, and he just looks so legit. The one thing that maybe hurts Rodgers is, of course, the Week 12 bye.
That probably
quarterbacks. Guys like Burrow and Lawrence already have that, and some others. So, I think that hurts. But if like you said, Hall or Wilson drafters, especially, especially like a Hall, Mike Williams,
Greg, or Spread makes absolutely. He said, do you think it's because most people have a second quarterback by then? And you, so if you have Garrett, you don't want to risk it. I don't know. Like you said, I think it's also the Week 12 bye, but we can talk about that in a second. We got to focus what the hell we're doing with our next two picks, because we're on the clock and we have two picks. I actually do like this range. What's your thoughts? I haven't taken much Ray Davis. What's your thoughts about just some Buffalo correlation there as our fifth running back and be done?
I'm personally not as high on him.
Okay. Well, we need to make.
I'd look at a quarterback. I think we need a quarterback.
Okay. Well, I'm obsessed with Levis, but we have Levis.
We have Pollard.
Yeah, we have Pollard, and we could get Chig. So you want to just do that?
Well, we're probably not taking Chig, but yeah.
Oh, that's right.
We needed a quarterback for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, we're coming up again. So we don't have time to talk about why you don't like him right now. We need to make a pick. So we have 2, 4, 6, 2. We're probably only going to be two tight ends. So honestly, if we want to do a third stack, we could. I feel pretty good about our running backs, but I would actually like to get another running back here besides waiting to the like wasteland at the very end. You don't like? Do you like the Vidal?
Well, we already have Gus Edwards. I like Hubbard and Irving more. I think they're more clear role. Their roles are much more clear right now.
Okay, let me just make sure because this is not a range of receiver that I like.
No.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on that. So Hubbard or Irving, you have 4 seconds.
Probably
Too
they're the
late.
same buy, yeah. So it didn't really matter.
Okay, so we got Hubbard. So, anyways, just checking in before we go back to the board. So we have 2, 5, 6, 2. Let me actually look with 3 picks left: 16, 17, 18. 2, 5, 6, 2. We're only gonna go 2 tight ends because we have Andrews and Freiermuth. I know we could go 1, 2 running, 2 quarterbacks, but since we waited later, if we took like a very late quarterback, I don't hate that. I actually have one in mind that I'll tell you in a minute. Because again, we have 2 guys that run, so that obviously you're kind of just have a low protection there. Are you fine with 5 running backs with the room of a Chain, Pollard, Edwards, Dow, and Hubbard? I mean, I honestly could see. And how do you feel about our receiver room of Lamb, Devonta Smith, Keon Coleman, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett, Mike Williams? Since I grabbed the falling value of Mike Williams as our 6, I feel a little decent that I think we have optionality. If we wanted to go a third quarterback, we could do either 3, 6, 7, 2 or 3, 5, 8, 2. What are your thoughts?
I think we should do 3, 6, 7, 2.
Okay, you feel like the running backs are a little too spike weeky and need a little more floor built in there.
Yeah.
Okay. You feel pretty good about getting just one more receiver then?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel pretty good about that receiver room of, again, we started, Lamb, Devonta Smith in the first, 3 rounds, and then Keon Coleman, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Lockett, Mike Williams. So, yeah, I do feel pretty good about that. Okay, let's take a look at the board. Let's see, that was the 14th, 15th that we took Levis and Hubbard, and then it went likely Juwan Johnson, Wan'Dale Robinson, Ray Davis, Bucky Irvin, Kamadi Vidal, Herbert, Noah Fant, J.K. Dobbins, Tyler Conklin, Luke Musgrave. So Andrew added to his jet stack. I like that. 3 Jets right in a row. Rodgers, Corley, Conklin, and then you got Luke McCaffrey. And then Justin, who had gotten Roman Wilson earlier, got Khalil Herbert and Marvin Mims. So coming around 191, 194. I mean, my thoughts, Steve, are with getting Freiermuth that we just grab Russ late. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, what are the quarterback? Could you just look at?
Oh, sure, yeah. So on the board we have Bryce Young, Derek Carr.
Young with Deontay Johnson, obviously.
Oh, that's true. We have that. We don't have any Patriots do we? Because I do want to build in a little Drake May on 3 quarterback builds.
Okay. We could do Russ. The other running back.
We're up in two. So
here would be a couple guys. Just Braylon Allen. He is.
I know. Pat talked about that on Neil's show today. Go ahead quickly.
Yeah. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
We could probably wait on that one. Okay, receiver. If we want to just grab our last receiver, we do have one that we like in Jalen Tolbert. Just add more Dallas correlation. What's your thoughts on Javon Baker and Tavius Walker? Or we could build out, he's a little dusty, but he is a Tennessee correlation. So that could probably wait too. We're on the clock. Yeah. We have 2 picks. What do you want? Do you want to grab? I'd say grab Bryce Young. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense because we have the correlated stack already built in. And he's a different bye week than both of those, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's be done there. Okay, so we don't need Russ. And then the question is, do you really like?
I would take the running back.
Okay. So you don't want to get an extra I know you like Jalen Tolbert a lot. You don't want to add to the Dallas stack necessarily. You want to feel comfortable with that running back room. Who do you like better in this case, Braylon Allen or CH?
Let's go Braylon Allen.
What's his bye week?
Week 12.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, we just had 2 week 5s. Okay. Yeah. I know there's been a lot of talk about him in OTAs and camp and in the OTAs practices so far. right? That he's like going to unseat Izzy. I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name, Abankana. But he should be the number 2. Do you think he has more than just contingent value? Do you think he still has some standalone value?
Yeah, because the other thing that he has, not only, what's great, the reports of him like catching passes and just looking more advanced than expected, but he's also a big physical back. So he could have some goal line work just in general, just to take some carries off, Hall's plate. And, that alone, as we see with these types of backup running backs, any time where they score a touchdown, they could make your lineup in a flex play. Especially once bye weeks hit, injuries hit, stuff like that. So, if you're looking
for my
for
Breece Hall shares, I hope he stays healthy. But
but I'm not even talking him being. I'm talking other running backs being injured. Like if we need somebody to fill in, because we only have 3 viable running backs. His outlook to 10 points any week that he gets a touchdown, then he just needs 40 yards or a couple catches and 40 or 30 combined yards. It's very easy at that point. So just his ability to be a potential goal line back also is very intriguing.
Yeah. Okay. So you just think he does have standalone value that between the catching passes or just getting mixed in the goal line, that he has enough standalone value even if Hall stays healthy?
Yeah, no, I do.
Okay.
And just the, Nathaniel Hackett coming from, it's been a rough couple of years for him, obviously.
Yeah.
So you can't really,
not last year. We don't need to talk about last year.
But, it comes from the Packers, and with the Packers, they always use 2 running backs.
Well, that's why I was going to say, I've been getting more interested in Marshawn Lloyd, some of the coach speak stuff. Obviously LaFleur talked about like using the whole 2 running back thing and not just wearing down one. And while I like Josh Jacobs a lot, he's been fine. I've been taking advantage of more of like a later 4th round price on and taking and still like Jacobs, but I do want to get more Marshawn Lloyd because I do think he like this. Obviously he's going a lot higher than Braylon Allen, still has some standalone value. It's not just contingent, like a guy like Elijah Mitchell is just totally contingent value. He barely did anything, unless McCaffrey needed a breather or got hurt. So, I like guys that has standalone value too. A couple of interesting things on the board, and then we'll make a decision on our last pick. I like what the person in one spot did. If you want to take a Lake Drake Mays share, he paired it with a Patriots receiver right there. Again, we got a third quarterback. So we got 2 young quarterbacks to go with Lamar because we kind of have a lot of running quarterbacks and still build out 3 stacks. Now, one is stacked, obviously, with running back, but Tony Pollard is a pass-catching running back. And then Justin went DJ Shark, Colby Parkinson at the end of the draft. I know people are talking about Rams tight ends, so that's a good point of emphasis and conversation. And then Andrew got our guy, Jatavion Sanders, Tank Bisbee, who I know we've talked a lot about, and Jatavion Sanders. It's coming up. A couple last quarterbacks go in the last round. And so Tyler Boyd's still there if you want to complete the have another stacking partner.
I don't hate it. He was one of the guys I wrote about as a final round guy. He's coming from the Brian Callahan's bringing over.
The only other one, I'm just going to throw this up to the board just so you can look at it to make a visual decision. I know you like Slayton as like a potential spike week guy. And of Octavius Walker, again, it's not as pass volume offense. Is he going to really fill into that like number 3 role? We don't know. It's riskier. So, I mean, Boyd is certainly more of a floor play, but he does correlate. I'm honestly fine with any of these 3, so I will let you choose.
Just could I look at the buys real quick for our
receiver? Bye weeks. We got 22 seconds, 7, 5, 12, 11, 10, 12. So really good. Only 2 week 12s.
Okay. I would.
This would be a second week 5, and then
I'd say go Boyd actually.
So go Boyd.
Yeah.
Okay. It correlates,
It correlates, and the thing is, like, he comes over from the Cincinnati offense. Even last year, with everything that went wrong with the Bengals, he was still a top 50 fantasy receiver. We're getting him. He was probably the 90th receiver taken in this draft.
Right.
80th, something like that. and the 2 years prior to that, when Burrow wasn't injured all the time, he was a top 30 receiver. So, And that's as the wide receiver, operating as a wide receiver 3 behind 2 stud receivers, Chase and Higgins. Guess what? He's behind 2 stud receivers, Hopkins and Ridley. So yes,
and like you said, we're going to talk about this on the show that will be up later tonight, offensive coordinators, but there is the expectation that the Titans are going to throw more with the Bengals offensive coordinator. And that's what we're going to talk about. That is why I am so high. I almost said Bill Callahan. That's his dad who's coming over to be his offensive line coach, correct? Did I get that right? Yes. Yeah. So Brian Callahan, offensive coordinator from Bengals, is the head coach. That's what has made me so high on the Titans. And we hope watching the offensive coordinator show will help you be able to. Are there any teams that you want to weight a little higher based on what the offensive changes could look because of coordinator? Okay, let's look at. First of all, Justin was trying to help me say Abba and Kanda. Thank you, Justin. I appreciate that. Let's look at the teams really quick, and then we can get on out of here. We appreciate you joining us. Before you get out of here, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the FanSpeak Network. Again, 4 to 5 live drafts every week. We're going to be mixing a lot more strategy shows and then plenty of free content over on fanspeak.com. So we'll start with ours, and it ended up still being a 3-6-7-2. Even though we took Lamar, we still watched the total draft capital because our last 2 quarterbacks were in the, I believe, last 3 rounds or so. So it was Lamar Jackson, Will Levis, Bryce Young. And then we got 6 running backs, Achane, Pollard, Gus Edwards, Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard, and Braylon Allen. I like that because, like you said, the top 2 guys are more spike weeky. So it just adds a little more, floor and mixes. I like that we did a 6 running back room there. And then receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Devonta Smith, obviously week 17 correlation there. Keon Coleman, Deontay Johnson, stacked with Bryce Young, Tyler Lockett, Mike Williams, Tyler Boyd, stacked with Will Levis, and then Mark Andrews stacked with Lamar and Pat Freiermuth. I'm sure there are some other like week 15, 16 correlations. I'm trying to see. I can't remember now who Tennessee and Carolina played. Do they play each other, Steve?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
I can't remember.
I do think but that's going to be another nice thing. Again, I don't think I'm telling anything that Pat wouldn't want me to say, but Pat's tool, when it is released, will be able to show you, okay, you got this, and then here's the different correlations you have, because it's so hard. You're like thinking in your head, I think I got some extra playoff correlation in there. And I'm sure we did. I do think we did between the Titans and Carolina and some of the other teams that we had mixed in there. So Justin said he likes our running backs. I'm guessing Andrew and Justin Andy and Justin are going back and forth. Be sure to check out their show at 9:30 tomorrow night. Let's look at Andrew and Justin's draft. So we've got Justin 2583, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. That is a nice pair of quarterbacks there. Rashad White, Aaron Jones, Zamir White, Austin Eckler, Khalil Herbert, like that. Garrett Wilson, Vontae Adams, Cooper Kupp. I love that receiver start. Josh Palmer, Khalil Shakir, Roman Wilson, Marvin Mims, DJ Shark, and then Dalton Kincaid, Cole Kmet, and Kobe Parkinson. Yeah, I mean, I love the teams he stacked up, and I pretty much love all his rooms. Any other thoughts on his team, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, the idea that you're getting Herbert paired with Allen in this year after the last 2 years, the cost, just totally. And then
being able to take Herbert, he fell to pick 136 too.
Yeah.
He double stacked him. I have seen some more camp videos with Shark. I'm not sure. Do we think he's going to be more like the wide receiver 3 in that offense then?
I mean,
with Quentin Johnson, because it's going to be, we got Ladd, Palmer, and then I guess it's between him and Quentin Johnson.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, no, I like this team. I think it's solid. And that was from the 9 position. I really like that stable of receivers, like right off the jump too. And then let's take a look at TD King, which is Andrew 2583 as well. He got Goff, Aaron Rodgers. And then I know he built out really good teams correlation stacks with both of them. So he got Jahmyr Gibbs, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris. Love that. Jerome Ford, Tank Bigsby. Love that running back room. Drake London, T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, Chris Godwin, Jamison Williams, Adonai Mitchell, Malachi Corley, Luke McCaffrey, Brock Bowers, Tyler Conklin, and good old Jatavion Sanders. The only thing I'd say is, I know Andrew and I have the 2 versus 3 quarterback debate. This might be one that I'd maybe do a third quarterback just since they're like really two pocket passers, but I love his other rooms though. So I don't know where you'd really pull from. Maybe one of the
Yeah,
receivers.
I would probably pull a receiver just because at the top of his receiver room is so strong.
Yeah,
So
London,
like
Higgins,
London,
Higgins,
Higgins,
Flowers,
Flowers. I
Godwin.
mean
Yeah.
those first five
Well,
are
the first
really
five,
good.
yeah, through
I
Jamison
mean, yeah,
Williams. Yeah.
it's rookies there on out, but I mean,
Yeah. No, but I mean, I like all his rooms a lot. That would probably be
yeah,
my only thing I do. But yeah, Andrew and I always joke about the 2 versus 3 quarterback thing. But it's a solid team. So who
yeah,
emerges from this draft? Will it be a fan speak person or 2? Hopefully it is. Hopefully it's 2 out of 3 of us from the fan speak draft. So I sure hope so. Okay, McCaffrey had some week 17 correlation with London, maybe different correlation than most have. And yeah, I
yeah,
mean, again, Andrew's doing 150 drafts too. So
yeah,
when you
yeah.
max
No,
enter,
absolutely.
you're trying to like change up your different combinations and that kind of stuff too. So like that, I like both Justin and Andrew's team. I get honestly, and I liked our team. I don't know who's going to emerge. I don't know who I'd give the minus 120 to come to be the ones coming out of here. But no, that was fun. Thank you guys for joining us in the chat. Thank you guys, Andrew and Justin, for joining us in the draft. Steve, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No. I thought that was a good draft, and I like what we did. I don't think either one of us are a fan to take both a quarterback and tight end that early. But I think the way we did it was well. We didn't then take another quarterback super close,
Yeah.
and then we did take another tight end, not too late, but we waited a while, and then there was only one more tight end, so that allowed us to get the 6 running backs to help solidify that room.
Right. Solidify the running back room. Like you mentioned that, the 2 top running backs were Spike Weekey.
Well, and
And
just we waited on running back much more.
yeah, outside we did a hero running back build.
Yeah.
We got a chain and then it was a total hero running back build, which
Yeah.
honestly we've done a lot of 0 running back and double hero running back. So it's fun to mix in different strategies. So that was fun to do a different build. We did a hero build and then we did have to catch up on running back. So I am really glad that we did the 6 running backs, to your point.
Yeah.
So good call on that and good call on the Braylon Allen. And then I ended up being happy with the receiver room still, probably because of my Mike Williams pick.
I mean, it's a great value. There's no doubt about it.
No, I just couldn't pass up on that value. But yeah, I did get bossy. And you did see the sibling. See, that's drafting together. We don't have to draft against each other. We can have a sibling showdown when we draft together and make decisions together. So anyways, again, final programming notes. If you have been listening, you've heard this. But again, check out our recent articles on fanspeak.com. We're each going to be doing another couple articles this week and weekend. There'll be, 3 to 4 new articles every single week. There'll be some fun stuff behind the Ultimate GM paywall soon. There's on this channel 4 to 5 live drafts every week. And now we're going to be mixing in lots of strategy shows and shorts. So plenty of content on the Fanspeak Network. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, tell a friend. We appreciate it. So this has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys. Yeah, as Andrew said, again, the show's the rest of the week. Thank you. Remember, Andrew and Justin tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. 9:30 a.m. on Friday morning, Friends of Best Ball with me and Tom Strachan. So mark the calendar for those 2 live drafts. If you weren't able to get in with us tonight, get in the draft tomorrow night or Friday morning with us. We'd really appreciate it. So this has been really fun. For Steve, I'm Meg, and we will see you next time.